Good evening and welcome everybody back to another episode of the Love Speak. I'm your host, Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, always with the baddest of the baddies, Billy Badass Joe. And
Hey,
welcome everybody to the show. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good. Tired this evening, actually. I can't even lie, but I am present. So that is good. And I'm in good health. So that is well. And everything is copacetic. How about you? How are you doing this evening?
Everything is copacetic. No.
Mm-hmm,
Everything is
mm-hmm.
copacetic. I'm feeling good. Today been a productive day, like we was talking offline. And blessed. Thank you for another day, as always. And looking forward to tonight's show. And
Yes, sir.
before we get into tonight's show, y'all make sure to smash that like button, share the video, and also subscribe to the channel so when we go live, you never miss an episode of the Love Speak. And tonight's topic is love uncertainty,
Mm.
the uncertainties of love. So let's go ahead and head on over to the Love Speak Q&A so we can look at what questions we have tonight surrounding love's uncertainty. Of course, we always encourage you all to tell us what you think and let your love speak in the comment section. You can chime in the live chat if you want to. We will interact with you. And we may even drop the link depending on how late we go this evening into the show. But our first question on the Love Speak Q&A tonight is, what does uncertainty mean to you in the context of love? Our second question, what can be some signs of uncertainty in a relationship? Third, do you think uncertainty is more about the partner or one's own fears? Fourth, can a relationship still be healthy when there's uncertainty? And then our fifth and final question, last but never least, how can one communicate their uncertainty to their partner without it sounding like rejection? Yeah. It's a little
Sure.
it's a little juicy. It's a little juicy.
Yes, it is.
You know. So as y'all seen the uh the thumbnail, the thumbnail said, what did the thumbnail say? The thumbnail said, unfortunately, I'm in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And we hear that. We've heard that. I actually, where I saw it at first was those two guys that used to do the podcast with Joe Budden, um, the heavy set brother. I can't think of his name. I think they Rory and Maul. Is that it?
Rory and Maul.
I think that's their names. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I ain't really far. I just know they used to be with Joe Buttons. But I don't want to be messing up their name. If I'm messing up y'all name, it's all respect. I'm not sure. I don't really keep up with it. But I seen a clip and I remember the brother's face. I'm not good with names. I'm good with the face. Though.
Mm-hmm.
And he was interviewing a young lady, and the young lady was in a relationship, I guess, because I only caught a little bit of it. But what was happening was I think people were calling in or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And like they were shooting their shots at her or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And this one caller called in, and this brother had like this smooth poem. You know what I'm saying? It sounded like it was straight out of a black outcast superhero movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and when she went to respond, she said, "Unfortunately, I'm in a relationship." So of course, the brother there that was interviewing her, he was just like, I was just talking about that. And in the context of what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So when people do that, is that a sign of uncertainty in a relationship? And that's what sparked this whole thing, to continue that type of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So, Billy Badass Joe, what does uncertainty mean to you in the context of love?
I mean, in a basic or layman's terms, it really does mean what it says. Like, I am uncertain of what maybe you're capable of. I'm uncertain of how solid you are. I'm uncertain of, your loyalty in certain situations or your commitment, because uh even if you're talking about family, loved one, or mate as far as a significant other in a relationship, uncertainty can definitely leave you wavering about the outcome of how things are going to work out for the relationship, for the longevity of the relationship. So it's really basic. It's not being sure. What do you
Not
think?
being sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely agree that there's a not being sure. That's what the whole uncertainty dynamic is built around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think there's some things that haven't been communicated. That's what
Uh,
that's what I'm
well,
thinking when we
uh-huh.
when we actually look at it as, you know, in the context of love. Like there's some things that that just need to be communicated. They haven't been discussed. So there is caution. There is there is anxiety. There is anger.
Mm-hmm.
There's frustration. There is um
Disappointment.
disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
It's confusion.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that going on. So that's what I'm thinking it means in the context of love, because there's a lack of communication. There's a huge lack of communication, and it's only one way to fix that. It's only
What
one way to fix that.
is that, to communicate?
Yeah, it's to get it off your chest. You got to talk about it.
Yeah, in fairness though, I do agree with what you're saying, but I do believe that there are probably situations in life where people have talked about it or they have expressed, and it's the reason why the uncertainty is there is because they stated and then they're just still unsure of how the person may respond once put in a situation where you have to like show certainty or uncertainty, you
Okay.
know yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I
So
mean,
I
that's fair. That's fair enough. But like after you communicate it though, right? After
mm-hmm.
let's say, in that case with the young lady who was on that show,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy was risen on his Rizzy game,
Mm-hmm.
and she liked it. She liked the Riz. Okay, but then
Right.
she told him, unfortunately, well, what's unfortunate about the relationship that you have? What are you uncertain about? You know, why is it now? Because this guy sounds better. All right, he hasn't done any of the actions that the person that you're currently with has exemplified.
Mm-hmm.
Right, you haven't went through anything with this person. Y'all don't have no history, no nothing. Right,
Mm-hmm.
but then this other person sounds, you know,
Approximately.
exciting and new.
Uh-huh.
Like the Love Boat. So, but at the same time, Why is it now unfortunately? What are you unfortunately about? Where's the uncertainty about this person that's proven? Or what are they not doing that this looks appealing? And that's why I'm saying that that person right there who's saying unfortunately, they haven't had a conversation with the person that they are already fortunate enough to be with. Their communication is poor,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
because if not, then it's not unfortunately. It's just that was very nice and
Yeah.
sweet, and some young lady may be more deserving of that, but I already have my king or my prince or
Yeah.
my charm, my guy. However,
Uh-huh.
however, it don't have to be them words exactly, but she can still say that she was flattered, and and
Yeah.
and enjoyed the Riz,
Uh-huh.
without giving him hope. Cause
Well, I was going to say, I really need to see the clip of the podcast or the interview because honestly, I don't know what context to take it in because body language means everything. So I just really need to see because the unfortunate part could be like, unfortunately, she didn't add the words like for you, I'm in a relationship, but maybe like as in a brief response, like, unfortunately, I'm in a relationship. Now, us from the outside looking in, it sounds like maybe she's at a point in a space where she is in a relationship where maybe there is some uncertainty or maybe she's very certain and that's the unsure part because she know who's her partner is and she has them and maybe she's maybe realizing they're not equaling up to who she would amount for her partner to be, but maybe she loves them still. That's the unfortunate relation situation to be in a relationship, but it's still certainty behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like, or do you get what I'm connecting? Do you connect what I'm trying to say or no?
nah, because if you certain about it, like you certain. If it's uncertainty, then you have some
Unfortunate and
concerns.
uncertain is two different things. Unfortunate and
No,
uncertain
no,
is
no, no, no. I'm not comparing unfortunately
uh,
and uncertainty.
uncertainly.
All
Uh-huh.
right, but unfortunately is a lack of fortune, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
Okay. So why am I giving this person that I'm with,
Uh-huh.
all right, a lack of fortune to tell somebody else to tell
Unfortunate.
somebody else that I'm declining, their interests,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? And that's
Mm-hmm.
the thing, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so why is it unfortunate? So how I'm interpreting it, the theoretical. Like, I understand you could see her body language, and maybe you could go on and give some else, but let's just say she giving body language that's like, "Ooh, I'm hot," you know what I'm saying? But she's still saying out her mouth, unfortunately, I'm with
Right.
somebody. Like, she's still saying, she's still rejecting the person,
Uh-huh.
the Riz,
Uh-huh.
but she's also saying unfortunately about the fortune that she has in her current partner, you know.
Maybe, yeah, yeah.
And that's why I'm saying, like, there has to be some type of uncertainty, because I seen women reject Riz's before, and they don't say unfortunately. They just, some women are straightforward. Hey, I got a man, I'm cool, you
Uh-huh.
know. And they
Mhm.
don't give you no whole bunch of interaction, because I've been
Right,
shot down before. I haven't always been married, right?
right.
And I ain't always score every time I shot.
Mm-hmm.
So, but and I'm not a presser. Like, I was never a presser. I never, if a young lady said that she was in a relationship, I stepped off. I ain't, you know, because people die behind shit like
Yeah, you
that.
ain't lying about
You
that. You
know?
ready to die behind that?
Yeah, so nah, we ain't doing all that. It's too many fish in the sea.
Right.
But understanding that though, if a woman was like, well, unfortunately, that give me hope. That's like,
Yeah,
oh,
I could understand that.
that give me hope because you like, oh, unfortunately, that means you really, really feeling me. You was feeling
Uh-huh.
whatever I was putting down, you was picking up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you thinking about he ain't doing right. Something ain't right. So that's why it's a unfortunately. So then I can come back and be like, okay, well look, if if you want a fortune cookie, I got one for you. You can open this up,
Right.
you know, and then you can have you some better fortune. So I can come in and just flip that whole situation, and then if she giggle or laugh or like, oh, I ain't never heard that or some shit or whatever, like show more interest, then now I'm just going in even more. So, and that was if I would choose that route to, to press upon if they already said, but once you tell me you got a dude, like I'm gone. Like I don't play about
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never played about that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it leaves more opportunity. So that's why I was just going with the uncertainty, tied connecting the two together, that there has to be something that is uncertain for a person to say, unfortunately. I couldn't imagine somebody trying to holler at my wife and my wife be like, unfortunately, I'm married. I couldn't imagine that. Like I'm your fortune.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but the
Like
uncertainty and the unfortunateness is you still, I feel like they're being collabed together.
they are.
And yeah, they are, but they two separate things because is a lot of certainty in unfortunate situations. That's what make them unfortunate because you certain about what loss you about to take. You about to
that's that's a good
you
spin. That's a good spin, but
yeah,
that
that
nah
so
nah,
that's the
but
certainty in it. It
that's a
ain't
good
if you
spin.
if you uncertain, you might got a little bit of optimism. You might have a little bit of
If you
hope, or
uncertain, you have optimism.
you might, yeah.
Nah, I mean not according to the definition. Like if we gonna make it a meaning, and then people carrying it, how they want to
If
carry it.
you
I
uncertain,
get that.
if you uncertain, right? You're not sure, but you're uncertain. It could go either way.
Nah, if you're not sure, then you not straight.
Yeah, but being sure isn't optimistic. Optimistic is being like, okay, look up the definition. Optimistic is
But
not,
we on uncertain. We on uncertainty. We ain't
we
on
are uncertain. We ain't
we not
on
moving.
unfortunate. That's for
But
sure.
what I'm saying, but what I'm using it as though, right? Like if okay, so let's take your word optimistic, right?
Mhm.
And if she said, well, that was nice, but I'm very optimistic about the current relationship that I'm in, right?
Mhm.
That's different than unfortunately.
Uh
Optimistic is more positive than unfortunately.
yeah, I agree.
Unfortunately, we can't
Sounds like
pay.
she's certain that she
Un-
knows she's taking a
unfortunate,
loss.
unfortunately, we can't pay the SNAP benefits. Unfortunately, the government shut down, so we're not gonna
You
be able to
know
pay
you
SNAP.
taking a loss. Unfortunate. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't pay you today. I have to pay
Yeah.
you Friday.
She's taking a loss in her
Unfortunately, right?
relationship. Yeah.
Oh, but
Yeah.
if I'm optimistic, but if I tell you I'm optimistic about I'm gonna be able to pay you today at 5, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then now it's positive.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. And I'm saying that uncertainty and unfortunately are both negative.
I think that they can be both can looked at as negative, but I do think they two separate things. I don't think that you have to be I don't think that you're uncertain necessarily because you're unfortunate. I think that sometimes it's both. You're uncertain, so that is the unfortunate part. And sometimes you know what you're going to get, and that's the unfortunate part because you're certain of the person you're receiving, the person you're married to, the person you're in a relationship with, the person, whatever it is, to make that individual certain, uncertain. But when you know, and you also know other things like you're not leaving or you can't or you don't want to or it doesn't make sense to. That's the unfortunate part.
Nah, that's certainty.
What's question number two? What's question number two?
Nah, that's certainty though. But that yeah, that's certainty. But I get what you put down. I'm picking up what you putting down. What can be some signs of uncertainty in a relationship? And I would say turning down Riz is talking about unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I'm not against that. That was not a good turn down. It definitely left hope, but I feel like signs of uncertainty is not feeling comfortable maybe after you're done certain conversations, or even like when you're in spaces by yourself and you have to trust that the other party is behaving well, or you know respecting your absence, respecting you in your absence, should I say.
Okay.
And if you're not certain about those things, then those are signs of uncertainty. If they are, if you're, like you said, anxiety, uncomfortable, uneasy, all of those things show a sign of uncertainty. Also, hesitation, I feel like shows signs of uncertainty. Like maybe there's a topic or a discussion that you guys talk about or visit, but maybe it never is something that is a decision is never fully made because of uncertainty within one's personal self, that may feel like they don't have confidence in making A or B choice in the relationship, because of the uncertainty. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
Um, I mean, for myself, being younger, when I, um was trying to make a decision if I wanted to, do motherhood, and in some of my relationships, it was like there was uncertainty that would be there about the partner. So, I would think that it was best probably not to, go that route with, you know, motherhood and child, within that relationship. But again, that's uncertainty. So, those are things
Right.
that made me feel
Right.
uncomfortable, things that I second guess, like, mm-mm,
Yeah.
what do you like? Have you ever experienced uncertainty in a relationship, and like what did it look like for you?
Absolutely. So once again, it was where I was in a relationship and equally like trying to have children with somebody, um, and determining whether or not that I was gonna do that. Like, and that's the wild thing. Like people think guys can't do that too.
Right. Like
You
y'all
like
deserve that. Yeah.
like you just gonna always think with your little head, and then you mess around and get a bum ass chick, or you get somebody who crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody who and let me not just throw crazy out there. Let me say somebody who has issues who they have not dealt with,
Yeah.
and they need to heal from the things, the traumas in their life that they've had
Right.
prior to you interacting with them,
Mm-hmm.
you know
Mm-hmm.
and that was my uncertainty in that. I dated the person long enough to have different communication, different conversations with them, and just realized that they had really been hurt.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of hurt
Mm-hmm.
in them
Mm-hmm.
from their past relationships and their past experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and I could tell that they were projecting that on me,
Mm-hmm.
because I was allowed to be in a private space with them, be in a
Right.
intimate space. They
Mm-hmm.
allow me to have those conversations with them, and I thought that in trying to have those conversations, that us being together, her professing a desire for us to be together forever,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that me being able to help possibly with those traumas, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that we could work through it together. But then when I realized, like, oh no, you got some shit with you
Mm-hmm.
that you ain't gonna never change out of. Like,
Uh-huh.
you hurt for life.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
cut deep. Yeah.
like yeah, like you what's that word, like you, I would, people say it, people be like you damaged goods,
It's, yeah.
but I wouldn't say that she was damaged goods. I would just
Mhm.
say that she wasn't the type of goods that I need.
Right.
You know,
Right.
somebody else may be able to, deal with that and tolerate and cultivate and everything with that.
Yeah.
But with me, it was like, nah,
It was too much uncertainty there.
yeah, it was way too much uncertainty. And
Mm-hmm.
and I saw things, so like it wasn't just from the communication or lack of communication. It was from
Mm-hmm.
the interaction,
Mm-hmm.
it was things that I saw that I didn't agree with. And because she was like, well, it's me and this what I did and all that, and I'm just like, all right, long term that shit ain't gonna work,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because that's not the type of person that I am, and I don't want to back you on shit
Right.
like that,
Right.
you know. So like if you are willing to, like, okay, certain things that I didn't do that she wanted me to do. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, let's do this. Let's have a trade off. If you can
Yeah.
trade that,
For
then
the
for this,
Yeah, you can
then
do
we could
this.
do that. You
Yeah, and you
know?
can do something that yeah.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
I'm just like, okay, I know I ain't perfect either. I got my shit with me too.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, let's do that. But once you see that a person is set in their ways and they can't
Uh-huh.
change and they
Uh,
don't desire to change, not even for you. And it's like, if you want to do it for me and you saying you want to be with me for the rest of your life, we gonna be together. Like, how the fuck we gonna get old and build shit and we can't even communicate?
yeah, makes sense. No, these are all
Like, this shit ain't
signs.
gonna
Yeah,
work. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Because either you
Mm-hmm.
gonna get pissed off and be like and quit, or I'm gonna be like pissed off and quit because I want peace.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you want drama.
Exactly.
So it's like, is it either way? It ain't gonna happen. So you know, what that was looking like, because what the question
Question is, yeah.
is what can be some signs of uncertainty. Those
Mm-hmm.
signs were difficulty communicating.
Mm-hmm.
Those signs were you know, aggressive behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Those signs were, yeah, because like she, hit me with the claw
Mm-hmm.
one day and shit like that. I'm like, damn, you know what I'm
The
saying? Like,
wildcat.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like, man, if I beat your ass, if I do the
Mm-hmm.
Diddy Cassie thing, like, I'm gonna be all the way wrong,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that ain't never been my character anyway. So,
Good.
I took that on the chin, whatever, but I didn't like that. You know, it had nothing to do with me being hit. I can be hit, and I mean, like, it's just a scratch, whatever. But the
Yeah.
fact that you wanted me to fight you,
Yeah.
the fact that you were willing to take your words to the next level
Mm-hmm.
to see
Mm-hmm.
if I would beat up on you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's like, okay,
These are
no,
all signs.
your level, right? This
Mm-hmm.
was like, no, this is a level of, you're really traumatized.
Yeah.
Like you've been around some, I don't know what type of women you've been around, but my mom and them ain't like that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like, I
Mm-hmm.
ain't grow around no women like that. That show me that they need to get their ass beat by their man for them to think that they loved.
Yeah.
Okay,
Red flag.
so we had a conversation about it too, and she told me that. So that when she said that, like, there was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
honesty. I give her that. But when
Mm-hmm.
she said that, like, well, my mama told me that if a man don't come outside himself, then he don't really love you. I was like, whoop your ass, and I was like, that's
Feel it.
unfortunate.
She gotta feel it to know it, I guess.
Yeah, I said, that's unfortunate that your mother sent you out here in this world like that.
Yeah.
You know, I
That
was
is
like,
unfortunate.
for real, that's what I told. Like, that is,
And
you
and
know,
that is definitely one of the major signs that show what was the question? We keep getting away
oh,
from it.
oh, oh no, we ain't away from it. uncertainty,
Yeah.
signs of that was a
Yeah,
sign of
this is
uncertainty,
this
you
is
know.
this is definitely a sign of uncertainty. All of these acts and behaviors are definitely red flags. And if you ain't uncertain about that, then that's something you need to sit down and reevaluate. But now, in reference to, that topic, do you think that the uncertainty is more about the partner or one's own fears? When you encountered that for like question number three, do you think that was like, it sounds like you think that was more of a her thing, right? You don't really think that that was like a you or your thing per se when it came to that aspect of the uncertainty.
Okay,
Like,
so I have never beat up on a woman.
uh-huh.
Okay, like even as a child, even as a jit, um, I fought two girls, and they both beat me up. I would say their name. I would say their name, but you know what I'm saying. I don't know if they want to say their name, but shout
Cause
out
you
to them.
wasn't fighting him, you was just grumbling around.
I was just yeah, I mean, I was a child,
Right.
but yeah, I got my little feels on
Mm-hmm.
pretty
Mm-hmm.
much, I yeah. So like hitting women is not my thing. Like it just never been my thing.
Yeah.
I always know like that's a cowardly act, and unless it's like unless unless it was like Clarissa Shields and she was coming at me and I had to get her the fuck up off of me,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? But like
Mm-hmm.
for every woman will lose, unless she
Right.
professional boxer, she
Right.
gonna fucking lose.
Right.
I'm sure of it. I'm that
Right.
sure of myself. So
Right.
like it's no need to exemplify that,
Exactly.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So no, so it definitely wasn't me on that level. On the
Yeah.
level of with the physicality, physical abuse.
I get what you're saying.
Um
Yeah.
when when I was examining the communication
Mm-hmm.
aspect of it, um there were some things that I still needed to develop because I'm always working on better communication, even now being married,
Right.
and I've been my wife for 15 years. So like, like I'm always working on my communication. It's always, she may have to beg. You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, you know what I mean? So like,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm willing to be checked on that. I'm willing to have those conversations.
Right.
Like I don't have a problem with anybody telling me I ain't like the way you talk to me. I don't like sucker shit where people, act like they can't say nothing. Like you a coward if you can fix your mouth to say something fucked up, but you can't fix your mouth to say nothing cool.
Yeah.
You a coward.
Yeah. I
You
feel.
know.
Yeah.
So like I don't respect that shit. Like that's sucker shit. You
Yeah.
know.
Well.
At the
Mm-hmm.
same time, even me holding that as a principle of my own, because some people cool with that, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
to each their own. The communication part is like not bad communication. Like communication isn't bad. Even when I said that she even told me that her mother prepared, that's the way her mother, reared
Yeah.
her
Razor. Yeah.
as a woman to go out here in the world that it's okay to get your ass beat.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's seen her mother in abusive relationships, and I asked about that. We talked about that because I wanted to understand that because I knew then I wasn't gonna be with her.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, what other things? Her tongue, you know, um, the vulgar communication.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't a thing. That wasn't me.
Right. It was a her thing.
That was I can get loud,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll get loud,
Mm-hmm.
but I won't get out of pocket unless
Mm-hmm.
you go there.
Right.
But I get loud with you though. Like you did like you're not gonna bully yell me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I do that shit. Like I yell too. Like like that's childish, right? So you wanna
Mm-hmm.
act like a child, let's fucking act like children then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Like we can't have an adult conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as it starts to get vulgar, I'll say something to try to tone it back down,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a person that wants to persist and keep on elevating and shit like that, like I ain't with all
Just
that.
gotta remove yourself from the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not me. So when I look at that particular situation,
Mm-hmm.
like it was not more about me, um, about my own fears in a relationship. It was about the things that I had experienced,
Mm-hmm.
and um and from those experiences, I did develop a fear.
Right.
All right. And that fear was that if I stay with this person, am I going to be happy?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Will we be able, looking at what I've been trying to do, how I've
Mm-hmm.
been trying to work on myself to be a better communicator,
Mm-hmm.
to be a more compassionate person, be understanding
Mm-hmm.
of their issues and their things.
Right.
All right. From that, am I now understanding that this person needs mental health therapy, and it don't matter what I say or what I could do, I'm not going to be able to even aid in this. I'm not even trying to fix it. I'm just trying to be there to be uh to go on this path with you, to I'm supposed to be a new whole experience, a whole new wonderful part of life. Right? When you meet that person and you think about you was just dating all these people or whatever.
Yeah.
Now you got your person who you like, okay, yeah, I want to be with this person. We're gonna be together, we're gonna live the rest of our life together. We supposed to be learning each other's, habits, bad habits, whatever we got going on, but also improving with each other as well,
That's what the relationship is about growing together and making each
about
other
growing
better.
together
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and helping each other be better,
Right.
right? So in that, I realized like I'm not going to be able to do that with this person,
Yeah.
you know. So once that mental disconnect happened for me, then I
Yeah.
was just like, okay, I don't even really want to sleep with you because I don't want to fuck around and get you pregnant,
Yeah.
because all we have to do is be fucking, and
Right.
we can have a responsibility for life, and I don't
Right.
want to get stuck with you.
Right. Well, I'm gonna run with you from right there. I'm gonna take the floor now, and I'm gonna say that I agree with you, and I think that that is part of the uncertainty. And I honor you for being able to notice both sides of it when it comes to question number three, like who is um the not at fault, but who is the person that needs to own up to the position of the uncertainty in the relationship. And I think that it was healthy that you could see on both sides what y'all could do. And I think that majority of the time for myself, you basically hit the head on the nail on the head. It's not really that I'm uncertain of the partner or the person that is the other variable in the relationship, whether it be friendship, familyship, co-workership, whatever the case may be. I'm normally pretty certain of what that individual or person is about. I'm more so uncertain, like, of my ability to be able to, like you said, know what the material I'm working with and then see how it's going to be conducive to my lifestyle. So I think that for number three, when it come in regard and speaking in regards to myself, I think that it definitely is probably something that I am more responsible for when it comes to like the fears and the uncertainty inside of the relationship. Again, I don't make stuff up. I just go based off of like the actions of the person that, you know, is
Yeah.
displaying who they are, you know?
Yeah, our interactions, and that's what I based it off of. I
Hmm.
based it solely off of that. I didn't bring any of my um anxieties or fears or anything from my previous relationship that I had before I got with that young lady. The only thing I brought um was a desire to be better, a
Hmm.
desire to be a better communicator, to have a better relationship. I just had picked bad. That's all it was. I just had picked
Yeah.
bad. But I don't say it was bad because I learned a lot of stuff. I say I picked bad because it was unsuccessful, but it was successful in teaching me a lot of things that made me um a lot better
Yeah.
for my next relationship, which was my wife. So, I appreciate it. Even though if she watching, you know, um, even though I just talked about you, I ain't put your name out here on blast. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate what you did. I appreciate the experience.
Experience, right? Exactly. Shapes you
Yeah,
into a better mold of a man.
yeah, definitely. Told
Mhm.
me a whole lot about, you know, how to pick them better.
Yeah, you ain't lying about that, and you did just that.
Absolutely. So we got number 4. Can a relationship still be healthy when there's uncertainty?
So, okay, now I will start off my answer by saying that I feel like certainty definitely is the way you want to go, and majority of the decisions you make in life is you want to be certain, but I do want to, kind of like bring a different answer or perspective to this answer, because I do think that some uncertainty in a relationship to some degree can be a positive thing or healthy, because some relationships have unique structures, or some relationships don't have the by the book, American dream play where you're married, the kids that are between you guys are just that, everybody's in healthy mental state, or all the finances are perfect. Like, they're different um situations inside of every relationship that if you had to put your money on it, you probably wouldn't, right? But you don't want to count the whole person out because of that one part of the relationship. So maybe the uncertainty leaves room for you not to be closed minded or negative per se, even though we did say uncertainty is associated with negativity, but it also leaves, like I explained, optimism to some degree. It's not being certain of a negative or a no-go. It's being hopeful. It's uncertain if it'll follow through, but it's not a solid no. So when you have things in a relationship that individual would count you out for, you don't want them to count you out. And even though you want them to be on your side of your team, y'all can be in the middle and say, all right, this is what I'm uncertain about. And we can work on it from here or there. So uncertainty could be healthy. It doesn't always have to be bad. But again, of course, we want to be certain about, most of the decisions we make in life.
Okay. I got one question about the comment you just made.
Uh-huh.
What could a person do that makes a person feel like they counted out? What can you expand on that just a little bit? What feeling like you got counted out? Like what could
Okay, here's two things. All right, here's like two
in a
different variables.
relationship?
Here's two different variables. Like, these are because there's so many different makeups in the world of relationships. We're just familiar with our own experiences. But like, say if somebody's dating somebody and like that's supposed to get drafted to a NFL or something, right? And they go in the beginning of their career, he gets hurt, and now the man that you planned on marrying, the man that you see yourself having kids with, he's no longer going to be a pro sports player. He has to go take a different avenue in life. So hopefully he paid attention in college and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So the
Damn,
the
don't say it so smooth and
I'm
shit
just
like
saying,
that. I mean,
yeah.
what if he got a little a pre-med degree or something?
He
Like, then
might.
it
That's what I'm
shouldn't.
saying. That's what I'm
Damn.
saying. Kudos to him. And I hope all of the athletes got something to fall back on. But I'm just saying that, all right, so naturally a lot of people would, if they panned out their life to be a certain way, once he gets injured, generally speaking, the relationship falls apart, right? Because they're just
I don't
like,
know. Does it? That's
I don't
horrible.
know, because I never been in a relationship with an
No,
athlete that got
no,
injured.
no. But I'm just saying though. Like, does it fall apart? Is that the norm? I don't
Well, they
know.
were certain that they were about to have a future based off of this husband being in the NFL. And now that he got injured, there's an uncertainty there, right? But,
It shouldn't be about. I get it. I get it. But it shouldn't
right.
be about whether they're gonna be married or not, or whether they're gonna spend the rest of their life together. And see, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's based on something that can be taken anyway. It's not built on the love that they have and desire to be with each other. So like to me, like I get what you're
That's
saying,
not
but
true.
but to
That's
me
why I'm
it's
saying
like that
uncertainty
shit
could be
was
healthy.
uncertain. And
Right.
that's yeah, I don't agree with uncertainty
Listen,
being healthy
listen,
though.
because this is why, because they do love each other, and because you didn't let me finish, you interrupted my statement. But what I was getting ready to say was, is if you decide to stick with your partner even after what you thought was about to be, the whole dream and setup, and then they got injured, you're uncertain about what your future is going to be, but you stuck with your partner, right? I'm not talking about
No,
the
you're
ones
not
that,
stuck with them.
no, you stuck with them even
Oh,
though
you
they
saying that
weren't
she's
a,
that they stuck
yes.
together. Okay.
Yes, they're still together. I'm not talking about, I was saying most people in this scenario will up and leave, based off
Exactly.
of,
So that's what I
yeah.
was
But
basing
what
that
I'm
off of. Yeah.
but you didn't let me finish. What I was saying was, is that, but for the ones that do stay, they have the uncertainty about maybe where the future is going. That's why I said I hope that athlete paid attention in
Mm.
school. You get what I'm saying?
Mm.
So he could create another avenue for a future, since the one that they had certainty about is no longer going to be an option, due to the injury. So that's where uncertainty may still be healthy and optimism, and I correlated with optimism, because you might not know where you and your partner are gonna do or have now, how y'all going to get that big house on the hill and send these kids to private school, and you going to keep your maintenance up, homegirl, and all of that. But you're not crumbling and shutting down and saying, oh my God, it's over and I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? Due to the uncertainty, you're being healthily uncertain by being optimistic and open. Like, I don't know how we gonna get this shit done now, but it's gonna get done. You know what I'm saying? Like, you uncertain.
No. But I hear your point though. But no, I
Okay.
don't I still don't agree with that. I still,
It would feel better to know. It would feel better to know, oh, he got injured. Tomorrow he's about to go open up a law firm, or he's about to go be a doctor. That would feel better to know. But the
but I mean he
question
could go
is,
bag groceries, until something better come along. Like
bad
I
groceries.
yeah, I'm just saying
That
like
is, I'm not against it. I'm not against it. I'm not against
I'm
bagging
just
groceries. A
saying.
job is a job. But
Yeah.
I think that's a big gap from where you're going pro athlete to your life plans to bagging groceries. I think there's a lot things that could be done in between the two that
Yeah, I mean like she could get a job. You know what I'm
she
saying?
should have a job.
Yeah,
She
they
should have
both
had a
could
job the
bag
whole time.
they both could bag groceries together.
Oh,
But
shit.
yeah, they both could bag groceries together. So I get what you're saying. But in relation to the question, I do not agree that a relationship is healthy
Uh-huh.
when it's
When-
uncertain. And even given um, in your scenario where they stay together,
Yeah.
okay? And okay, cool. So it wasn't about them being together for the fact that the guy was going to the NFL or
He was going pro, right?
or going
Uh-huh.
pro. All
Uh-huh.
right. It wasn't about that. However, it still is very to it still to me is unhealthy because now there is uncertainty
Yeah.
because they don't know how, like the key thing that you point another key thing you pointed out when you said that they were depending on that because they were planning their life around that. So now, not knowing, saying hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully is uncertainty. Even when we put it in the context of hopefully he paid attention in school, hopefully he had a degree,
Yeah.
hopefully he had this, right?
Yeah.
Like that's still
Yeah.
uncertainty. So and that's still unhealthy.
But that's the gag in life. The unhealthy part would be once uncertainty comes in, your partner is not able to withstand the test of the relationship. That would be the unhealthy part. The uncertain part is life. Stuff be happening in life where you wish you could be certain about it, but you just don't know. Now, I'm not saying that, oh, yeah, it's so good to live in uncertainty your whole relationship. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I don't think that. I think when uncertainty comes up because of the unfortunate circumstances in a relationship, or maybe something happens, I think the messed up part about the uncertainty is when the person or a person, the people, want to break away from it and not try to figure it out and communicate with it and not allow to give each other anxiety and things of that nature, which I'm almost answering number five, but I know we're not there yet.
Nah, because that sounds unhealthy. Because that sounds unhealthy. If you are giving me anxiety, if we in a
Right.
relationship and you giving me anxiety,
Yes, I agree.
anxiety ain't healthy.
Right,
If
but
if you
uh-huh.
giving me headaches, that
Uh-huh.
ain't healthy. That shit can
I
lead to a
agree.
stroke.
Yes, it
You
can.
know what I'm saying? Because I'm uncertain about this. I'm uncertain about the way we communicate. I'm uncertain about the stuff that you doing, the way you conducting yourself, the way you hanging out and what you doing and your activities, whether it's the guy or the female. That shit is unhealthy. So that's why
I
I'm
agree.
saying that can it and that so that's why I'm saying can a relationship still be happy when there's uncertain healthy when there's uncertainty?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying no.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm just saying no, and that's why I'm saying it, because there are more unhappy times than happy times.
I
There's there's
will.
there's more frustration, and when there's frustration, that's unhealthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Happiness is healthy. When you feeling good, you feeling great about, you feeling confident, you
Mm-hmm.
know, you're
Mm-hmm.
feeling
Mm-hmm.
optimistic, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
um you're looking forward to things. When you like, damn, I gotta deal with this one, or damn, this way, that shit is unhealthy. And
Yeah,
that's
that's
and that's
not
and that's uncertainty. And
why that doesn't sound like that sounds like uncertainty, but that also almost sounds like you certain that you don't want to be with them off and you still dealing with them. That almost sounds like
okay.
yeah, that's
Okay.
almost what it sounds like. But how could we communicate? What I was trying to say was when I was like, dang, I'm almost answering number five. It was how can we communicate their uncertainty to their partner without it sounding like rejection? Is like you just said, like it is about sitting down and being able to have like a space that you feel safe because it can't be brought up during the time of the high point of the uncertainty and then y'all they're screaming at each other or they're using, words or
But
terminology that they would.
right.
Yeah.
And that's
So,
unhealthy. And that's what I'm
yes.
talking about. Like
Yeah.
that's unhealthy.
Yeah. But there is a healthy way to communicate uncertainty, like y'all driving home from dinner one night or something like that. Or she, is in a passenger seat. She's like, babe, I've been like feeling
So
about.
so what about when an issue what about when an issue comes up? What about having a conversation about issues first?
Yeah.
So when we have an issue, when we have a disagreement, all right, when we know when I'm thinking one way about something and you thinking another way about something, and we know that that you already know whatever the issue is, you already know that you have a difference in opinion than I do about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? How about we have a rule for what we do so
Mm-hmm.
that way it doesn't turn into
Mm-hmm.
a yelling match, a argument match, a right or wrong thing. How about we since we are learning each other, right? You
Mm-hmm.
working on your ability to communicate, I'm working on my ability to communicate, right?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
got a short ass temper, all
Mm-hmm.
right? And you have a hard time taking accountability for when you wrong.
Yeah.
Okay? Me, I'm a man, I just want to solve the problem. I just want to solve it. I don't really want to go through all of the extra dramas and shit like that. All right? But we together, and I have to allow you to express what it is that you want to express and how your position, all right? And then you also have to allow me to solve it if that's what you're looking for. But you have to be able to say, like, I'm not looking for a solution,
I agree with you saying. So just as one
right?
needs to be able to express and one needs to be able to receive it.
Okay. So
Uh-huh.
In that, what we just did is now we having a conversation about how we'll deal with conversations that could possibly bring disagreement when we trying to work on things. And where do we get that from? We just both go from our past stuff that we dealt with.
Yeah.
We go from past things that we dealt with and we say, okay, damn, we got through it. However, is it a way that we don't have to go through what we went through to get through that the next time?
Right.
Because we could have just solved it. We got through it anyway, right?
Yeah.
But did we have to go through this battle? You know, why can't we just understand, like, okay, this how you are, this how I am.
Yeah.
All right. So when we come across things that look similar to this, then we
Yeah.
both need to be stopping and thinking like, do this look like something? Let's agree that when we come across things that look similar, we say, okay, to ourselves before we even bring it to each other. This is something that look like something we've experienced before.
Yeah.
So, so even when we bring it to each other, I'm like, hey, babe, remember that thing that we had went through back in so and so and so and so?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's something that just came up like so and so and so and so and so and so, right? Then you're gonna remember how we solved it.
I mean, that would be the point.
You
That
still
would
gonna want the drama. You still gonna talk about all of the stuff that happened and blah blah blah. But you also gonna remember how we solved it, how we worked through that issue.
yeah, I would hope that would be the main, that would be the objective. That would be
Right.
the
But
goal.
right. But we didn't have to argue about it. You
Right.
see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Because of how it was presented.
Yeah. I
So
agree.
even with that, on the receiving end,
Yeah.
the other partner can do the same thing to not cause, to not cause so much,
Minimize the friction.
right. And
Mm-hmm.
have better communication so it doesn't feel like rejection.
I agree with you.
Because the
Yeah.
rejection is the part where you communicate something, some uncertainties, and then you just feel as though like, the person just doesn't even acknowledge what you're
Not you.
saying.
Right.
They just don't even
Right.
care.
Right. Or the ones that act like they do care, which is even worse, and then turn around and do something that probably has no regard to what you express to them, you know? So,
I mean, it's either way. Like, even if that they do that too, all right. If a person does that, does it get solved?
mm,
You know, and
mm-hmm.
if and the thing is that a lot of times people will get stuck on the stuff to get it solved versus the solving it. and
Oh,
and that's what keeps tension, that's what keeps uncertainty,
right.
you know
Yeah. I
because a
see what you're
person
saying.
because people tend to get stuck on the well you ain't, well you didn't, well you
Mm-hmm.
did, and you this and you now what is it doing, it's causing this, it's placing this blame,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's sounding like rejection to the solution.
I get what you're saying. Yep.
It's sounding like a rejection to a person saying, we need to work on this. We need to fix this.
Yeah.
They're not rejecting you because they
Mm-hmm.
having a conversation with you, trying to actually solve something, trying to
Right.
build, trying to fortify your union, make
Right.
things stronger, make things better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
But it takes a level of maturity, it takes a level of desire to actually look at yourself and hold yourself accountable for your own things first,
Yeah.
you know and it also takes a thing like learning your partner,
Mm-hmm.
learning who you with and understanding how to present things to them.
Yeah, for sure. And about controlling your emotions, being like you said, mature enough to if you get ignited by something, able to, even I say that, and it's funny, I giggle to myself as I'm saying it, because I'm like, you just got really riled up the other day about something. And that is very true though. If you're able to control your emotions, then I think that you're able to communicate more effectively without sounding like you're rejecting or not being open-minded to somebody else's uncertainty.
Definitely.
Yeah. All
Definitely agree
right, all
with that.
right.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. So tonight, y'all, we have been discussing love's uncertainty. Make sure to tell us what you think in the chat and let your love speak in the comments below. We had 5 questions on the Love Speak Q&A tonight. What does uncertainty mean to you in the context of love? What can be some signs of uncertainty in a relationship? Do you think uncertainty is more about the partner or one's own fears? Can a relationship still be healthy when there's uncertainty? How can one communicate their uncertainty to their partner without it sounding like rejection? Let us know in the comment section. Let your love speak. And we respond to all of the comments. Make sure to like and share the video. Also subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, so when we go live, you never miss an episode of the Love Speak. I am Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, always with the baddest of the baddies, Billy Badass Joe. And we want you all to have a peaceful, positive, and productive weekend. It is the weekend eve.
Yes, it is.
And we will see y'all next time right here on the Love Speak. Peace.
Good night, world.
This whole publication is all about going from nowhere to somewhere, right? Being able to stand on something so that you can travel in peace, right? So bksoulfarm.com, 1016 160 self-sustainability. Jump on a list and get yourself together, right? Because it is irresponsible to not even know what responsibility means. So get yourself together, food, clothing, and shelter, protection of that, support your interests, and live.
Some say that art imitates life, but we say that life is art. So visit the DBCHEFTV gift shop and get 15% off of your next masterpiece of fashion. How do you get there? Simply tap the link in the description. At the Veteran Kettle Podcast, we thank you for your service, support, and sacrifice to our country. Listen to real stories of adversity and triumph as we give our best to honor our vets. Subscribe today and watch episodes now streaming on YouTube at TVK Podcast, The Veteran Kettle. If it's Friday night and you don't have a date, then brunch with the fellas is your spot, so don't be late. We go up at 9 p.m. with the trending topic news. Smash the like, comment, subscribe, and share the content. Don't be rude. At Brunch Fellas, now streaming on YouTube. Love ain't always easy, and we won't stop until we get it right. So bring that ass to the Love Speak Podcast. Subscribe today and let your love speak at TLS Podcast. The Love Speak, now streaming on YouTube. Exchange insights Sundays at 8 p.m. East Coast time with the Cigar Panel, smoking on words like two big nerds, hosted by DB Chef TV and BK Soul Farm at Cigar Sundays on YouTube. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so when they go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. Sign up for the newsletter and shop merch and clothing at www.dbcheftv.com.